Welcome to the basic introduction of the Caddie software. I'm going to show you how to create a model, and then you can also create elevations from your model as well as a normal working 2D plan. First, I'm going to introduce to you some of the commands. On my left hand side, we call it the root menu. That is where your application is. So if I'm going to click on the build, it will give me my 3D build related commands. Then we've got the draw commands. Now these are only the most commonly used commands. If I go to draw and I go to lines, you will see some more line commands. So we're just going to make use of the basic lines for a reference, and then we're going to trace it with the 3D commands. Then we've got the geometry that we're going to make use of. That's your construction lines. It will show in your model space, or it will show in your sheets, but it will never print or plot. Then we've got some measure commands, and then we've got annotate. Now the annotate, that's where you're going to enter your text. That's where you're going to make use of leaders if you like to, as well as how to apply dimensions. We're just going to focus on some of these basics. During the presentation, I'm going to refer to what we call keyboard shortcut keys, and they help. You will see that if you want to copy something, you're going to select the object, you're going to press C on the keyboard, you're going to make use for E for end to cancel a command or to stop a command, F for freehand, you're going to make use for M of move, you can use S for snap. So when I refer to shortcut key, there's a list that you can export and you can run through it. So let's start with the basics. In this exercise, I'm going to show you how to start off with a basic design for the new conference center. What we're going to focus on is there's some rules that we have to follow, that when it comes to your main entrance, there need to be a rotating door, single glass aluminium, the floor area no less than 110 with a built-in reception, and then we have to create 3 similar size meeting rooms with emergency exits to the outside. You can start your design with geometry, with construction lines. I'm going to start off with rectangles so that we can first create these rooms, and then we're going to build a puzzle, and then you'll see that we'll get to the final design. So the first room that I'm going to create is a main entrance. So they say the floor area no less than 110. So I'm going to indicate the start point of my rectangle, and I'm going to make it 14,500, 7,800. Press enter. So we do have a command in the apps SA arc plan. We go down to calculate room size. I'm going to ask Caddie write the area on the drawing for me, and my alternative unit is going to be meters, although I'm working in millimeters. So I'm going to say OK. Caddie will ask us to indicate the room corners. Now you can go clockwise or anti-clockwise, but once it's a rectangular shape or a square shape, you can just indicate the opposite corner, E for end, and I can place my text. So the size is 113, so that will be my main entrance. Then they ask for 3 similar size meeting rooms, accommodate up to 15 delegates, the floor area no larger than 36. So let's make it 35. So once again, use the same command, indicate the start point, and the size I'm going to make use of is 7,100 by 4,950. Press enter, and I can either go the same path, or I can just right click recent command. I'm going to ask Caddie, let's create the room size, E for end, and I place my text. That's going to be 35. We need to use 3 of these room sizes. Then 2 similar size meeting rooms, floor area no larger than 24. So let's create one of 24, indicate start point, and for this one I'm going to make it 4,800 by 5,000. And once again, just to double check, room size, first point, opposite corner, E for end, and I can place my text. Then we have to create a kitchen. Kitchen rules, approximately 10 square meters. So we can just go slightly bigger, indicate the start point, and I'm going to make use of 2,500 by 4,950. And once again, I can just go recent commands, room size, E for end, and I can place it. So those are the sizes that we have to work with. So I'm going to start off with my main entrance. So I'm just going to move this one slightly to the side. Now I don't want it to be start square at the end, because I would like to create a curved wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a parallel construction line, 1,500 from my main entrance. I know that your entrance needs to face north. You'll see you'll select everything. You're going to go right click and you're going to say rotate. and you can rotate it. So you can work comfortable in the software. Once you finish with your design, you can rotate it in any direction. And let's first start off with the kitchen. So I'm going to select the kitchen, M for move, S for snap, and I'm going to place my kitchen over there. Then I'm going to make use of 3 similar size meeting rooms. So let's start with this one. I'm going to say C for copy, S for snap, and I'm going to place it next to that one. So there's another 2 rooms, and then I would like to have one here at the bottom as well. M for move, S for snap, I'm going to place one over there. Then we need to use 2 similar rooms, meeting rooms. They need to be side by side as well. So I'm going to say copy, I'm going to place one over there and one over there. So what we now can do is we can select what we don't need. So this is going to be our design. So if I select it, M for move, let's just move it closer to the center. Now as you can see that luckily those 3 lines up at the top, these 3 at the bottom, there's one size that's slightly smaller. So what we can do is we can just go geometry, con X, S for snap, create a construction line, and all I have to do is, because I know the limitation is 36, so if I just make it slightly bigger, if I delete the text, and if I go to apps, SA arc plan, calculate room size, from here up to there, E for end, and I place it, then we're at 36. So, and as the limitation mentioned, it needs to be less than 36 square meters. So we in the vicinity of what I request. So what we're going to do is now we're going to create the outside profile of the external wall. So I'm going to change to a different layer, the advantage of working with different layers at a time. So I'm going to say external wall. I'm going to change to a different pen color. I'm going to go draw polyline, S for snap, and this is going to be my profile for my external wall. Before I'm going to ask Caddie to make a wall from this polyline, I would like it to make 2 curved walls. So what will happen is I'm going to select the polyline and I'm going to ask Caddie with the polyline is to make the line segment an arc. Caddie will ask us indicate segment to change to an arc. This is the one I would like to change. So now I can do my change. But what I also would like to do is if I select that polyline, you will see that that specific arc will give me my radius. So that will be 6684.9. So I'm going to give that same radius to the bottom. So I can select the polyline, right click, polyline, make line segment an arc, indicate the arc, and as Caddie asks us in the command line, I'm going to press R for radius. I'm going to say 6684.9. Press enter. Caddie asks me on what side. It's going to be on the left hand side. So that is going to be the outside external wall profile. So just to display the specific layer, all I have to do is I go to layer display, and as you can see there's the general working and scratch area. I'm going to ask Caddie to only display my external wall. I'm going to say OK, and now we're going to convert this polyline to a wall. We do have a command. You can go to build, you can use the wall command, and then you can trace your profile. But because I've got a polyline, I can right click, I can go down to convert to. I'm going to ask Caddie convert to wall. Caddie shows me the direction of the polyline. So what that means is if my justification is center and my wall width is 220, it will be 110 on each side of the polyline. But if it's set to left, it means my wall will be on the inside of my polyline. And that's what I want. So my justification is going to be left. My variable width is 220. We're just going to stick to a standard wall. And my cleanup radius is going to be 300. That means as soon as it gets to another wall, it picks up in that radius a wall, it will merge automatically. You will see as soon as we come to the internal wall, then it will explain itself. So I'm going to say OK, and it creates the external wall. So if I'm going to orbit it, you can either make use of shift and the left button of the mouse. You can use T for top view, or you can make use of the orbit command at the top. So if I click on the orbit command, it can give you explanation. So you can left click inside the circle or on the outside. Depends if you want to rotate or roll your model. So I'm going to press escape, T for top view. I'm going to ask Caddie to show all my layers again, because now I would like to do my internal walls. So on my left hand side, as you can see, we do have a wall command there, but I would like to use the quick wall command for the simple reason that we've got single individual lines that we want to draw, and just so much quicker. So it's going to be, my height remains 2700, variable width 110. My origin this time, I'm going to set that to center. It's going to be a straight, and I'm going to keep my cleanup radius 300. So Caddie asks us in the command line, indicate start of wall. So I'm going to zoom in, indicate the start point, indicate the end point, E for end. Then I can press spacebar to repeat previous command. Start point, end point, E for end. Spacebar, start point, end point, E for end. And as you noticed, it merged your internal wall, merged with the external wall as well as the other internal wall, because the cleanup radius is set to 300. And press spacebar, indicate first point, next point, E for end. And on this side, I'm going to make it up to there. That's going to be a small storage room. So there we've got our outline, we've got our external walls and our internal walls. And now we're going to go to the top view. Now when it comes to the door command, we're going to start off with a standard door first. So if I'm going to click on the door, you will see that the style itself starts off with standard door style. Give you your head height, your width, swing angle is 90 degrees, and I'm going to define it with the center of the door. So if I'm going to say OK, Caddie will ask me indicate position for outer face of door. So if I'm going to zoom in, I indicate the outside. Now as you can see, Caddie will ask us click to update the hinge position. So as I left click, Caddie will change the hinge position till you're happy with, if you want to open it to the outside or the inside. E for end, and Caddie is in a loop command, so then ask you again if you want to add another door. I can just left click till I'm happy with the angle. E for end, and then at any stage you can select the door, you can right click, and you can ask Caddie move along for that matter to just bring it closer to your internal wall. If you want to change the hinge position after you enter the door, then you can make use of those yellow arrows. So let's go back to that side. So there's my two standard doors to start off. So go back to the top view. I would like to add another standard door in the kitchen. I'm going to zoom in. That's going to be the door for the kitchen. Then we're going to add a accordion door on the left hand side, as well as now we can for the storeroom. Let's add one over here as well. This is going to be for my storeroom. And now we're going to add a more fancier door for the main meeting rooms. So under style, I can go down to save presets. If I select the first one, as I scroll down, it will give you a preview. And I would like to use this external double mounted. So I'm going to say load. I'm going to go back to my door parameters, and I'm going to change the width to say 2000. Now at any stage you can change the properties as well once the door is selected. So I'm going to say OK, and Caddie asks us indicate position for outer face of door. It's exactly the same. So in this exercise, I'm going to like to have the door on this side. Once again, same principle. As I left click, Caddie will update the hinge position, but I would like the doors to open to the inside. E for end, and I would like to place one on this side as well. For this room, the hinge position is correct. E for end, and one at the bottom. Let's say over here. E for end. So I'm going to open it now. Then you will see there's your doubling door as well as your standard door. So if I go back to my top view, I'm going to come to the bathrooms now. Just want to add another two doors here for the emergency exit. So let's go back to the standard door style, and I'm going to ask Caddie the width is going to be 900. We say OK, and let's make the exit, emergency exit on this side. E for end, and one exit on, let's say over here. E for end. And as I said, you can either make use of the grip point as well, hold down your tab key, and you can bring it closer. Or you can make use of construction lines to be more specific. So there's the two emergency exits. Now I'd like to add accordion door here between room A and B. We're going to add the standard door, but then we're going to change the style. So I'm going to say T for top view. Let's go back to the door command. I'm going to stick to a standard door. The only difference is the width. I'm going to make that, say, 2500. And my swing angle, I'm going to make that 0. So I'm going to say OK. Caddie asks us indicate position for outer face. S for snap, I would like it to be center of that internal wall. As you can see, I get a signal. So if I'm going to orbit it now, it's just a straight standard door. So if I'm going to say top view, now we're going to modify the door style. So I'm going to select the door style, you're going to right click, you're going to go to door, and then you're going to say copy and apply door style. Let's call this one accordion. I'm going to say OK. Otherwise, if you're going to edit this door, because they're sharing the same style, then they all will look exactly the same. And that's not what we want. We only want to modify this one door. So once you gave it a new name, we're going to select it, and we're going to go to edit door style. As you can see, you've got your dimensions. We're going to go to design rules, and my door type, I'm going to change that to accordion. I'm going to say apply. I'm going to close it. Although you can't see the difference yet, if I select the door now and I change the swing angle to, let's say, to 90, I press enter, then it will give you the presentation of your accordion door style. And the same is going to happen now with your rotating door. So if I go T for top view, on the right hand side, I would like the door to be in the middle. So once again, I'm going to say door. Let's go down to a style that we would like to use. I would like to use this one. I'm going to say load. I go to my door parameters. My width, let's make that bigger. Let's make it 3000. My swing angle, okay, I'm going to make it 90. I'm going to say OK. Once again, Caddie asks us for the outside. E for end. So there's the door. Although it looks like a huge door, remember now we're going to give it a new name, and then we're going to edit the style. So I'm going to select the door, right click. We go to door, and I'm going to ask Caddie copy and apply door style. For this one, I'm going to call it rotating door. So I'm going to say OK. Once again, once it's selected, I can right click, I can go to the door style itself, design rule, and my door type, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to say revolving. So I'm going to say apply, I close it, and say if you're going to orbit it, there's our presentation of our revolving door. So I'm going to press T for top view. Then we just need another 2 doors. So on the left hand side, once again, we're going to go to the door command, and we're going to go down to the styles. We're going to select one. I'm going to use this one. Single glass. I'm going to say load. My door parameters, I'm going to reduce it back to 900. I'm going to say OK. And Caddie asks us indicate position for outer face. Left click. Once again, left click. We're happy with the swing angle. E for end. The same on the other side. E for end. So I'm now going to orbit it. Now we're done with our internal and external doors. So now we're going to focus on the bathroom. So I'm going to say T for top view. And now we're going to divide it into 3. Although for the disabled people, we can just make it slightly smaller than for the female and the male, because they need only to be one toilet with a hand basin. So the command that I'm going to ask to divide is under modify, divide, and there's a command that says divide with construction lines between 2 points. It's going to be number of segments, it's going to be 3. S for snap, indicate the first point, indicate the last point. And as I say, let's make the men toilets at the top. Then we're going to make it for the disabled people in the middle, and then for the women at the bottom. So let's make the one for the women slightly bigger. There we go. And now we only have to add the internal walls as well as then the symbols. So the command we're going to use, let's go back to our internal layer. I'm going to go to build. I'm going to say wall. It's going to be a standard. My justification is center, variable width 110. So I'm going to say OK. S for snap, indicate first point, last point. E for end, space bar. Say OK. S for snap, first point, last point, E for end. Let's add the doors. So let's go back to the door layer. We're going to go down to doors. This is going to be a standard door again, width 900. I'm going to say OK. Caddie asks us indicate position for outer face. So let's make it E for freehand, that is in the direction I want the door to open. E for end, make this one over here as well. End, and let's make this one over here. E for end. And remember, at any stage you can select it and you can move it along the wall. Let's make that one center of the wall. So there we've got our internal walls now finished with all the doors on the inside. We're going to get to the windows now. So there's your model up to now. So I'm going to say T for top view. Now before we do the windows, I just like to change the color of the doors quickly. So all we have to do is we go to layer display, show me the layer of all the doors. I can select them and I can change it to a different pen color. Then I can say show all layers again, because I would like to see the difference between my doors and my windows. So my windows itself is also going to be pen number 7. So on the left hand side, the command I'm going to make use of is window. Now as soon as you click on the window command, you will see that if it starts up with the window parameters dialog tab, then it means it will start off with a standard window. Now the standard window is just a frame with a piece of glass in it, but if you go to specific, you will see that we've got the NC, the ND and the PTT series there. So that range that you can select from, if I assume correctly, they mention about your rotation door need to be a single glass aluminium. So I assume you will also like to use aluminium windows for your rooms. So you're going to select your range, you can select your model, and as you scroll down with your down arrow, you will get a presentation on the right hand side. And once you select it, you can say OK, and Caddie will ask us indicate position for outside face off. So I'm going to say S for snap, because I want this window to be in the center of the specific room. On the left hand side, I can say F for freehand, and I can say I would like to be more to the left hand side. And on this side, S for snap to be in the center of the room again. So if I'm going to press escape, and if I'm going to orbit it, then it will give you your presentation of your aluminium window. So I'm going to say T for top view. Let's add some windows at the top as well. And once again, one in the middle. Let's place one there in the middle as well. Let's place a smaller window here in the kitchen. So the space bar. The size is 2.1. The height is 1,500. So let's go down something smaller. There we go, 900 by 1.5. I'm going to say OK. Indicate the position. So all three of them has got windows on that side. And remember, you can at any stage you can select the window to see what is the style. If you like to double check to see what you would like to use on the other side as well. So I'm going to say it's a PT2115. Say OK, the center and in the center. Now you may notice that there will be a difference between these two windows for the simple reason that when we're going to do the elevations, so that you can see this is going to be from the left and this is going to be from the front. And then for the bathrooms, $1,200. And let's give an extra window for the ladies. So one over here and one over there. Keep the top view. So now I'm going to show you how to work with the catalog. So I'm going to delete those construction lines. Now, when it comes to your catalog, in your status bar at the bottom, you'll see this option that says show hide catalog. Once you open the catalog, you will see that by default with your installation, you will get the Caddie 28 samples. Then you've got also the option that says download additional catalog. But with the Caddie 28 samples, that will be enough for you to finish up your exercise. You only need to make use of basins, baths, sinks, WC, kitchen, furniture. So just to complete this exercise, you can just make use of the normal catalog. So let's start on when it comes to your bathrooms. On the left hand side, we've decided that the one at the top is going to be for the men, and they insist that there need to be 2 toilets, 3 wall mounted urinals, and 2 hand basins. So on the right hand side, we're going to go down to WC, and as you can see in the list, it gives you a top view, a side view, so we can just scroll down till you find the symbol you're looking for. As I'm going to drag the symbol, it gives you exactly the same preview as it shows in the catalog. So I can say F for freehand, and I can place, the male needs 2 toilets, so it's going to be 1, 2, and then they say it need to be 3 wall mounted urinals. So if I scroll up, I saw one here at the top. Let's go to this one, drag, and then what you can do is once you place it, you can also right click and you can say and rotate. In this case, I want to rotate it 90 degrees anti-clockwise. I'm going to say OK, and I can place one over here. I can select the existing one, see for copy, and place another copy on the side as well. Then they say it need to be 2 hand wash basins. So let's go up to basins. You can see there's the preview. I'm going to drag it. It's upside down, or I would like to rotate it 180 degrees. So all I have to do is I'm going to right click and rotate 180. Doesn't matter anti-clockwise or clockwise. And I can place it. Once again, select the symbol, C for copy, and I can place the second basin. So that's when it comes to the male toilets. When it comes to your disabled, they need 1 toilet and then 1 hand wash basin. So, and remember, you can select the existing symbol, C for copy. You can bring in the toilet. On the right hand side, I can select the basin, drag and drop. And remember, when it comes to your drywalling in between, but what you can do is that if you're going to go to wall, just make sure that when it comes to your wall standard style, is that your auto cleanup is switched off. If it's switched off, then it means if I'm going to say OK, it will ask us indicate start of wall. So if I'm going to zoom in, indicate the start point, and I hold down my tab key, I can create that wall, press escape. You will see it will not merge with my internal wall for the simple reason that we've switched off the option that says automatically clean up. Okay, so that's when it comes to your disabled people. Then when it comes to your female, they need 3 toilets and 3 hand wash basins. So on the right hand side, once again, you can just drag, place the first one, place the second one, right click and rotate. Let's make it 90 degrees anti-clockwise as well. You can place one here in front of something like that, and then 3 toilets. So go down to WC, or otherwise you can select one of these toilets, C for copy, and rotate 180 degrees, and we can place them. So 1, C for copy, 2, and 3. Once again, you can make use of your drywalling, C for copy, and you can place it in between. Press escape, remember to save, Control S. So that's when it comes to your bathrooms. Then when it comes to your meeting rooms, you need to accommodate up to 15 delegates. I'm just going to do the one room. Okay, let's start here at the bottom, it doesn't matter. Is that on the right hand side, you will see that we do have furniture there. If you go down, if you're going to bring in the desk, you can actually create your own desk. Because if you're going to bring in the desk, I'm just going to place it now. Let's have a look and see on the size itself. So if I go to measure, I'm going to say measure Y. That is 775. So I'm going to say measure X. So that is 1800. Unless you would like to make use of the symbol and you'd like to place 2 chairs next to each other. So if I'm going to right click and rotate, let's make that 90 degrees, and we can place the symbol. Now you can bring in some chairs. As you can see, we do have some samples there. You can drag in, right click and rotate. Let's make that 90 degrees. It's going to be clockwise. Say OK. On this side, place one over there. C for copy. Hold down your tab key. Now you can select both of them, C for copy, and I'm going to move that text now, but now at least now you can create your profile for your delegates. It's over here. Can we fit in someone in here as well? Yes, we can. Let's move this door slightly to the right. And let's move those moved a bit to the front. And we'll be able to get another setting. See for copy, tab, and I can place one over there. So there we go, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So let's just move this text here to the middle. And there we go. And now, because I know those are exactly the same, remember you can select. I'm going to exclude my text, C for copy, and hold on my tab key. I can place exactly the same set on this side. Once again, just move the doorway. It's going to be a very, very close fit if you're using this existing table with these chairs. There we go. So there you've got your symbols, how to do your toilets. You've got your symbols, how to do your meeting rooms. And now let's get to the kitchen. So if you looked at what the kitchen needs, is a single sink, a built-in cupboard, a fridge, a stove, and a serving counter. So let's first start with the service hatch here at the front. Let's go to bolt, we go down to opening. My head height is going to be 2100, height is 1000, and the width is 1500. So I'm going to say OK. Caddie asks us to indicate position for opening. I'm going to indicate the opening, so that will be our surface hatch. So I'm going to say D for top view. Let's get some symbols. Let's start off with the single sink. So if I go down to sink, as you can see, there's your previews that you get. You can select, drag, and it will be attached to your pointer. If you want to rotate it, right click and rotate. Let's make it 180 degrees. I want it to be on the right hand side. So let's say that's going to be the sink. Then we need to have a built-in cupboard. Now what's nice about Caddie is you can create your own symbols. So let's go to parallel. I'm just going to say let's make it 415. And I'm going to say the cupboard needs to start from there up to say over here. And all I do is draw. It can be a polyline, normal lines, doesn't matter. Let's change it to a different pen color. Make it green. So this is now presenting your built-in cupboard. So you can add text. Let's delete those construction lines. So you go to enter text. Cupboard. The angle is going to be 90 degrees. Say OK, and I can place my text. Then what else is needed? A fridge and a stove. So on the right hand side you go down to kitchen. As you can see, there's a 3 plate, there's a hob. What do we want to use? Let's use that 4 plate. So I'm going to drag it, right click and rotate 90 degrees anti-clockwise, and if for freehand, then we need the fridge. If you don't find the fridge, you can create your own fridge by creating your own symbols. Let's go back to pen number 1. As I showed you, very straightforward. Select a rectangle. For that matter, you can give it a size. Normally it's about 600 by 600. So let's make it 650, minus 650. Let's enter. Let's create parallel for the front of the stove that's presenting. Let's make that 25. So don't assume that you need to have a symbol for it. Create your own symbols. And you can attach text to it as well. Over there, let's make the text slightly smaller, 150. For freehand, let's move it. So there we have your fridge, you've got the stove, you've got the built-in cupboard, you've got the sink, and then just the serving counter that will be at the front. So let's go back to draw. That can make use of a rectangular shape for freehand, and there we go. So last but not the least is going to be your entrance. Now, as I mentioned there, they talk about a built-in reception. So this one, you can decide what you want to do. You can go to build, you can say a curved wall. My variable width is going to be 110, but my wall height is going to be only 1 meter. I'm going to say OK, indicate the start point, hold down the tab key, indicate the last point, and that's going to be presenting my reception counter. I'm not going to give you all the hints or all the details. If I go back to the top view, I can say wall, just to make it a bit more funkier. You can say, right, let's make that wall height 2007 as well. It remains curved. I'm going to say OK and hold down the tab key, and you can create something like that. So at the end of the day, it's all up to you for your design, for your built-in reception. Now the next is going to be your roof. Now when it comes to the specification of the roof, it needs to be a Dutch gable design with gutters and downpipes, as well as it need to cover a drive-through that is wide enough to accommodate 2 motor vehicles side by side for dropping off and collecting of delegates. You can decide 6 meter or 7 meters. So let's go geometry. I'm going to say is for snap, parallel, 7 meters, that's fine. So that will be the size for my drive-through. Now we just once again create the external profile for the roof. So this is the profile for my Dutch gable design. The command that we're going to use is on the left hand side. We're going to go to build. In a subcolumn we go down to roof. Now as you can see, Caddie can create heat, bonnet heat, mono pitch, flat, gablet, mansard. So we're going to use a gablet. My pitch is going to be 22, heap height 4,800, overhang is 500, and my base height is 2,700. So I'm going to say OK. Just want to change to a different pen color. Let's go to the correct layer, and I'm going to start indicate the first point, next point, and last point. If I end, Caddie asks us indicate roof segment to make into a gable. That's going to be on the left hand side. It's going to be on the right hand side. So if I press escape and if I over it, you'll see there's your design. Now as you can see at the moment, your roof is in the air here at the front, no support. So I'm going to say T for top view. I'm going to add some structural members here at the front. So on the left hand side, the command we're going to use is structural member. I'm going to click on the command. As you can see, there's different profile types that you can make use of. Circular hollow section, I'm going to stick to a square hollow section. And then on the left hand side, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to make use of 270 by 270, 6mm width. I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to indicate the first point in the middle and at the top. So if I'm going to press escape, I'm going to orbit it, then you'll see there's my structural member supporting the roof. Now you'll notice there's opening in the roof. The best way normally is to display only that specific object. If I'm going to snap to those 3 points, it may be that I'm going to snap to the wall, and I don't want that. So I can select the roof, right click, layering and display only selected object. On the left hand side, the command we're going to use is under draw, 3D parameters, we go down to plane. It's going to be a free-form plane, it's going to be manual. I'm going to say OK, indicate the first point, as Caddie asks in the command line clockwise, E for end, and as you can see, there it closes it. So let's go to the other side. So we go to draw, 3D parameters, go down to plane, S for snap, you get first point, second point, last point, E for end, and then it closes it. Let's display all the layers, and now we're going to add some gutters as well as downpipes. Now the gutter command itself is that if you're going to delete these construction lines, you want to see the profile of the model, because if I select this roof, as you can see, it's one entity. We're going to convert this roof to roof slabs so that then we can tell Caddie where we would like to add or apply your gutter profile. So you're going to select the roof, right click, you're going to go to roof, and you're going to say convert the roof to roof slab. You're going to erase the original because you don't want to have a double up. So now you will see that if I select it, it will be single individual panels. So now we're going to ask Caddie to modify this panel. So if I'm going to select it, I'm going to right click slab, and I'm going to ask Caddie modify edge. At the moment, as you can see, the edge style is set to none, but as I select edge 1, 2, 3, Caddie give you a preview on the right hand side which one that you can modify. So number 2 is the one that we would like to change. The edge style that I can use, I can select the first one, I can scroll down for the different type profiles. So for our exercise, we're just going to stick to the first one. I'm going to say load, we go back, and I'm going to ask Caddie to change on number 2, edge number 2, to change my edge style to box Eve. So I'm going to say OK. If I press escape, there it applies my profile. So let's do it on all 4. Right click slab, modify edge. Let's give me a preview. Number 2, box Eve as well. The other side, modify edge, number 2, and the one at the back, right click slab, modify edge. This one has got up to 6, so let's have a look. That's going to be number 5. Say OK, and there's all my gutters. So now we just have to do the downpipes. So let's face it from the left. So the way that we're going to create the downpipe is that I'm going to take my UCS, I'm going to put it against the wall, and then we're going to create a 3D polyline profile, and I'm going to use a mechanical command to actually draw the pipe. So I'm going to say 3D parameters, and I'm going to say 3D polyline. I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to say, right, let's start over there. I'm going to hold down my tab key, give it a drop down, say up to there, and then opening up to there. And the command I'm going to use is under apps, mechanical draw, 3D pipe. That's going to be my radius, pipe diameter. Let's make that 100 as well. 3D polyline. I say OK, and I indicate my 3D polyline. So there's my downpipe. Now, as you can see at the moment, it's at the edge of my wall. So what I can do is I can say T for top view. Let's take this downpipe. Let's select it. M for move. Say up to here. And then I can make copy of it. So I can select it. C for copy. Hold on my tab key. And I can place one, say up to here, almost in the middle, as well as here at the end. And I can even give one there at the post. So if I'm going to press escape, I'm going to orbit it, there you can see there's your downpipes. The same on the other side. So what you can do is you can just say T for top view. You can either select them all and then we can mirror it, or what we can do is we can select the one. I'm going to say C for copy, indicate where I want to copy it from. While it's attached to my pointer, I can right click and I can say and rotate. It's going to be 180. Say OK. I'm going to hold on my tab key because then I know it's exactly in line with my one at the bottom. You can make use of your construction lines then for the other. I'm just going to select them. I'm just going to select the one. C for copy, indicate the start point. And as I say, you can make use of construction lines. This for me just to introduce to you the command or show you how it can be done. And then one here at the end, as well as one at the post. We can also add here on the left hand side. Select T for copy, indicate the start point. Right click and rotate 90 degrees clockwise. Let's add one here on this side. Select that, C for copy, one in the middle, and then one at the edge. So I'm going to orbit my model now. You can see, up to you, your design. Let's go back to T for top view. Okay, let's do some elevations. So the command we're going to use on the left hand side, we go to bold, and in the subcolumn we go down to vertical section, quick section. Hold down my tab key. This is what I want to include, and let's place the elevations here on the left hand side. The vertical section again. E for end. Place it on this side. Vertical section from there to there. Facing in this direction. Let's put it underneath this one. And then the last one from there to there, up to there, and we place it over here. So there's my elevations. Now depends on what is your drive-through idea, then you can make use of our catalog. Let's say this is going to be the entrance, so I can make use of, under my catalog, under vehicles, I can use the ODTT, that's going to be the back on this side. But the front will display ODTT on this side. And then I can scroll down, and then I can make use for, that is the Jaguar front and back. So if this is the front, this is going to be the Jaguar back. And then the Jaguar front will be on this side. It's controlled as a normal drawing. You can do dimensions, you change your pen color, you can go to annotate, horizontal, vertical, doesn't matter. Just, let's say I want to do a, from that point all the way up to this point, I can place my dimension. You can do a vertical dimensions from there all the way down to the bottom, let's say up to there. So you can control it as a normal 2D drawing. But what I want to show you now is that when it comes to your finishes, yes, we do have an option that you can make use of hatch. You can add it manually. So if you go to your draw, you go to your quick hatch, I can go to my quick hatch and I can ask Caddie, go down to a brick standard. I'm going to drag it. I can ask Caddie, right, let's start, say for instance, from this side. I want to hatch all the way up to this side. E for end. And while I'm on manual, it means I can indicate the islands, so I can zoom in and I can indicate the islands. E for end. I want these to be islands as well. That is one option that you can do it, is either manually, or the easier way will be, you'll see now I'm going to add it to my wall style, so that when I'm going to refresh my elevations or my sections, it will update automatically. So let's delete that hatch. So if I'm going to go back to my model, I'm going to over it. I'm going to ask Caddie, let's edit the existing. So I'm going to say brick standard, drag and drop on my wall. What do I want to change? I want to change my surface hatch, and I want to switch them all on my walls. So I'm going to say OK. As you can see, it displays it. Depends on what render mode you are set to. If you're going to set to hidden line, then you will see it will show you the brick elevation or the brick on the wall itself. So if I go top view, I can just ask Caddie to refresh all my sections. If I go to section, regenerate all section, then you'll see it will update automatically. There we go. So as easy as that. Good luck and enjoy.